Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. This one is all about salon strategies that work to market your business, how to develop your personal brand, and how that develops into your brand identity. Um, so before we start, I know that a lot of us that went to aesthetic school probably didn't learn a lot about marketing, so this is hopefully going to help you out with that. And while we're going through this, I kind of want you all to think about your favorite client, the one that books regularly, refers friends, and genuinely appreciates your work. And that's going to be the foundation because your marketing should be designed to attract more clients exactly like them. So I'll go ahead and go introduce myself. My name's Allegra. I am the Starpil Brand Development and Marketing Manager. I have been here for 5 years working behind the scenes. And now I'll pass it off to Lizzie.
Hi everyone, my name is Lizzie. I am the Starpil social media manager and community manager. Some of you know me. I work with all of the pros. I have been doing social media marketing for the last decade, and I'm so excited to be with you guys today and Mariah at this webinar today on branding and marketing. It's going to be so exciting and great. So I'm looking forward to it.
And next is Mariah.
Yes, so my name is Mariah. I'm so excited to be here and talk about this. This is something that I have learned over the past 10 years. And just to put everything kind of over the past 10 years into something like this is super cool. I started as a solo esthetician, and then I am now the owner of Project Esty, which is an aesthetic school in Gilbert, Arizona. And so I know a thing or two about marketing and branding. So I'm just really excited to be here and share some really good golden nuggets with you guys.
Amazing. All righty, let's dive right in then. Let's get right to the meat and bones. So, before we start, any sort of marketing has to start with identifying your brand identity and your personal identity. And it's not just your logo, your fonts, your colors. It's so much more than that. So, your personal identity is who you are at your core, how you naturally talk to clients, what your belief on skincare is, self-care, your authentic personality. If you're a nurturing and pampering type, or if you're a straight shooter, you give honest advice, or if you're more of a trendy and you follow all the latest trends, that's what you need to decide as a start for identifying your brand because it all starts with your personal identity. You don't want to copy what's working for others because you want to build from an authentic foundation. You don't want to force an aesthetic that's not you. If you're more of a calm, boho type of person, your content, your captions, your studio should communicate that. And clients can sense when things feel forced. And that is either going to attract clients that you don't want because they're attracted to the persona that you display, not actually you. And you want clients that actually align with you. And you want to be able to sustain this. So the easiest way to sustain something is when you are naturally yourself and you don't want to have to worry about if my authentic self isn't trendy enough. There's only one you. You can always put your own individual spin on what's trendy and what's out there. You don't need to follow specific trends if they don't align with you. We're going to dive into a bunch of different strategies on how to adapt if something is or isn't your vibe. And you want to take those authentic traits and make them visible to your clients. And that is where the client connection reality is. So there's a ton of wax salons everywhere. I'm sure you're not the only esthetician in your area, nonetheless, 10-mile radius. So people are attracted to you because of your maybe prices, your services, but then what makes them actually want to book is who you are, your personal touch, what they see on your website, what they see on your social media, that gives them that extra push to choose you over maybe some of the other salons in that area. And when your personal identity and your brand identity align, that gives you very, very powerful results. Ideal clients will recognize you before they even meet you. They'll see you on Instagram and be like, I feel super comfortable with this person, and they'll book right with you. And then when they walk into your studio, they'll feel right at home. And so you want to think about, okay, if someone saw my social media, my treatment room, and the way that I interact with clients, would they think that that's all the same person? If not, this is an opportunity to align your brand closer to who you are. Your dream client should be able to feel familiar to you. They should align with you. You don't necessarily need to be the same person, but they need to be able to recognize you from the persona that you put off. So, Mariah, you've built such a strong personal brand across your salon business and your aesthetic school. Can you share a little bit about how you even discovered like what your authentic brand was and how do you manage having different brand identities for your salon versus the school?
Yeah, that is such a great question. And you know what? I really struggled with this in the beginning because I feel like number one, it's so easy to look around what everyone else around you is doing and like what is working for them. And I think in the very beginning, I was looking at all these girls who were successful and like they had their own business. And although it wasn't me, it wasn't true to like Mariah, I was like, okay, well, it's working for them. So like let me try it. But like you said earlier, it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't something, it wasn't true to me. And I like things to be polished and I like a certain look, but at the same time, I want to be real and down to earth and raw. And I want people to see that through my content that, yeah, like I might not be the most Instagram perfect, picture perfect person, but like if you come to meet me in real life, like I will I will make you feel comfortable and I wanted to portray that through my content and not everything just be so picture perfect all the time. And so I had to go through this weird stage of like, okay, I'm okay not being perfect because I know that I'm going to attract the girls who are comfortable and who feel that way when they come and see me, whether it be on my page, and then when they come and see me in person, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so down to earth. She's a real person. I can actually open up. And I feel like that is a type of client that I attracted, which then led me obviously to grow, which I know we'll get into all that. But I would say, honestly, just like not comparing to the people around me, finding what it truly meant for me and what I could sustain long term. And that's exactly what I did. And then just showing up online and being that person, being real, showing the real behind the scenes that everything wasn't perfect all the time. And then giving them like giving my audience and showing them what to expect when they came and saw me in like behind the doors was really cool. And then separating the business brand from personal brand was really hard for me because I feel like I used to think that these were the same thing. Like, okay, businessman and personal brand are the same things. Yes and no. Like now, if you guys like follow me on my personal Mariah SD and then Project SD, when I was growing the two, I'm like, holy smokes, these are two completely different things. And so learning what that looked like was hard too. But I will say it is very important if you are watching this and you are a solo esthetician, it is so important that you separate your personal brand from your business brand and know that these are two different things. These are two different strategies. And so just learning what that meant was very important. Your personal brand should tell a story, and also your business brand should also tell a story. But storytelling is something, if you are watching this, write this down. Tell your story, be authentic to your story, because that is really truly what is going to attract your clients. But also, again, like I go back to long term, being able to just stay true to your story. And people are going to connect with it so much more than if you just put on a persona or a front. They want to know the whole story. And that truly is what helped me grow both my personal brand and my business brand. So yeah, I guess just not comparing to everyone else, staying true to who you are and show up as that person every day.
I loved, Mariah, that you said the strategy behind each account was a little bit different because that's so important because Mariah is the person who built the brand, who was there at the school, who did all the things, and all of those stories I'm sure are inspiring not only to yourself but to others as well who can take all those tad bits of information, but they're in there with you in the grit of it. And then Project Etsy is the story not only of you and how you built it, but everyone who comes in and out of the salon, the students that come to your school. So I love that you were able to identify that and convey that through your socials. So congratulations, because that's awesome from a marketing standpoint.
Thank you so much. And it is so weird. It was so weird because I'm like, Project SD is not just me. It is like it's a vision. It's so big vision, right? And it's like it's not just about me. It's not just about Mariah. It's about my team. It's about hiring the right people. It's about the students and their story and their careers because they're coming through the school. And it's almost like if you as a solo esthetician can you have yourself and then you have your business. What does your business do for the people? Like that is ultimately, it's not about you. It's about the experience and the transformation that everyone who steps through your doors gets. And so if you can understand that, I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, but I think you guys can kind of feel what I'm saying. You can change lives, and really, truly, that is really what separates personal from business. So thank you, Liz.
Yes, the common theme throughout all of this is going to be authenticity. That really is your foundation. Clients obviously choose you for your technical skills, but it goes way beyond that because there's a ton of good estheticians out there, and they want to pick the one that they feel is most authentic, that aligns to them, is going to make the experience a lot more comfortable. So now we're going to transition into building a brand that attracts. So your brand is your magnet. It's not just pretty colors, fonts. It actively determines who walks through your door, and every choice about how you present yourself is either attracting your dream clients or repelling them, or attracting clients that don't align with you. So you attract what you project. That's marketing 101. If your posting is like chaotic, you have misspellings in your captions, you're going to attract clients that are kind of maybe disorganized, chaotic, or canceling all over the place because that's what they see. But if you want to project that you are a luxury option, you provide an experience, not just a service, then you want to make sure that you project that, as well as your social profiles project that as well. And if you have a niche, you want to own it. If you're naturally great with sensitive skin and you love taking your time and creating an experience, you need to own that and not try to be the like quick in and out bargain option, or like the quick, like, I'm just here to do your service and it's in and out and you don't have to spend so much time with me. You don't have to market yourself that way if that's not you. And if you are marketing yourself that way, make sure that you're not presenting that you're providing like a whole luxurious experience if that's not what you're giving, because some people aren't looking for that. Some people just want to get their brows done and go. Some people just want to get their Brazilian done quickly and go. So if that's the type of client you want to attract, then that's what you need to be projecting. You don't really, if you don't really have a specific niche, let's say you do all kinds of services, show all of that, show your diversity, so that the client that is looking for the one thing that you offer, they can find that, and then they can see the diversity, and you'll be able to attract more clients that way if you want to own it all. But then you have to make sure that you're showing each specialty in a unique way. Um, Everything that you post, your content, your captions, your pricing, is creating a perception in potential clients' minds. Um, so Lizzie, I'm going to pitch this to you here to talk more about that.
So absolutely. I think the more authentic and the more you lean into you, the more your dream client will say, wait, where has she been all my life? I took a little bit from our last webinar where Mariah, where you were on, and we were talking about the 8-minute Brazilian, and how it was, I love it because it's a point of conversation for all three of you that were on there. And it's like, what does that mean for you? Maybe one esthetician can do an 8-minute Brazilian and it means that she could do it in 8 minutes, and you're still going to get that luxury feel. And then you can brand yourself and speak that way. And other people like to take some time. So, I think that you should put out in your content, if that's what you're pitching, if you want them to come in and out, and that's the way you service them, that's fine to continue to put that. But if, let's say, you're speaking to an older generation and that's pretty much who your audience is, you're not going to be doing TikTok dances on there, and because that's not what you're attracting. So, just a little bit of that, Mariah. I've never seen you do a TikTok dance on there, so if you want to touch into how you structured your audience and who your dream client was and how that worked for you.
Oh my gosh, I love that, because you know what? It's funny that you say that specifically about TikTok and dancing, because we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I do have a team. Like, I've hired a girl for my social media and she does all my like everything. And we are going to be on TikTok. So although I won't be dancing, we will be doing more TikTok. That is so good, because I do not dance. It's not my personality, it's not my style, it's not my branding, and it never will be. And I never have done any of that because of that. I'm very true to, like, it's just not who I am. So with that being said, I looked at my ideal client and what that person was. And honestly, I found through time, obviously it takes time, especially when you're just starting, like, who is my ideal client? Like, when you're just starting, you don't even know what that looks like. You have to be super specific and write it down. And it wasn't until I actually literally got a piece of paper and wrote down, who is my dream client? She is a boss lady. I like women who make a decent amount of money, who don't have a lot of time, who want a quick service, but they want a good service. And they're busy and they want to come in and out. And honestly, that is kind of how I am. And although it is a lot for some people sometimes, they're like, how come Mariah comes in like a whirlwind? Like my team will tell you that this is how I am. I like to get straight to the point. I don't like fluff. I like it black and white. Tell me how it's done. I'm going to tell you guys how I want it and I'm out. And it's just how I am. And so that's the type of client that I attracted into my business too, which is really cool because I relate to them and they relate to me. But also having that personality and being real and raw all at the same time. So I would say number one, literally write down, and this is what worked for me, was writing down who my ideal client was. And then that is obviously how I am. So however you are and what personality and style you are is the type of people that you're going to attract. So for me, the 8-minute Brazilian made sense because, hey, my client is in and out. And she makes a lot of money. She's a businesswoman. Like literally, that was my ideal client. And it was so cool because that's exactly what I got. And then all those girls are also hanging out with other girls who are doing big things and who are busy and are in corporate or whatever that looks like. And so that was my ideal client. So I hope that answers the question. Did you have another question to piggyback on that, Lizzie?
No, that was just like to just let you know that's what creates connection, and I feel that's what creates loyalty. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's important. And from on the social media side, I feel like your aesthetic, your feel, your vibe, even the music that you choose when it comes to posting something reflects that. And I think it's super important, super on point, and that's why I love to see your content. And it's a brand that attracts. I would be your dream client, so I definitely connect with you.
I love it. All right, Liz, come down to Arizona. Love it.
Perfect. Yes, we're gonna beat this horse till it's dead. That authenticity is gonna be your foundation, and we want to attract clients that appreciate us, not make us question our career choices. So let's transition into building a brand that attracts the right clients, as we've been talking about. And one of the most effective ways to do that is showing your face. And we know that this might not be the easiest thing for everyone. So we're going to dive into all the options that you have available to be the face of your business. So waxing can be intimate, especially with the Brazilians being one of the top services available. Clients are trusting you with really vulnerable moments. They're not just booking a service, they're booking a person that they feel comfortable being vulnerable with. Seeing your face, hearing your voice, getting a sense of your personality before booking will remove a lot of initial anxiety. Think of it from a client's perspective. They're scrolling Instagram at like 11 p.m., deciding where to book a Brazilian. One account has like perfectly styled flat lays and it's just more like aesthetic looking, but then another esthetician is like, her content is showing her explaining the process, showing the treatment room, and showing client testimonials. Like, which one looks better? Which one are you going to book with? Obviously, the one that's showing her face and showing you the experience that you're trying to book versus something that just looks pretty and is aesthetic but doesn't really show you what you're getting. 55% of a brand's first impression is visual. So more than half your potential clients are making their decisions based off what they see. If they see your face, personality, and your authentic approach, it makes a crucial first impression. You don't need perfect lighting, a ring light, trending sounds. You just need to be authentic and consistent to start off with. Because ideal clients are looking for someone real and trustworthy. Our clients are humans too. We're all humans. So trying to put on this front that we're all perfect is not going to get anybody anywhere. And it makes it just way more relatable. And we're seeing a massive shift with brands. I'm sure anyone that's on Instagram actively or TikTok actively notices that like brands are kind of moving away from the corporate, structured, appropriate Instagram captions and are moving more towards natural tone that people would talk like on social media. And that's creating something that's more approachable and personable. Strict, overly structured social media is kind of like out right now. Authentic, personable content is very in. You're a real person providing a real service, not like a faceless corporation. So showing up authentically, you're already ahead of the curve there. Being on camera is not everybody's favorite thing, which is totally normal. Not everybody likes it. The good news is that the transition towards like casual, personable content makes it easier. And when you're being authentic and vulnerable, it makes it even easier because you're not putting on a show, you're just being yourself. Casual posting and genuine thoughts, and unfiltered thoughts builds a lot of trust. So you can start small, like show your hands mixing the wax, setting up your station, a studio tour, demonstrating your aftercare. You can try voiceovers first if you're not comfortable with being on camera. At least hearing your voice already adds a level of personality to your page that when your clients then come book with you, they've heard your voice. It already creates a sense of familiarity. Another thing you can do is create like one introduction video to have like pinned at the top of your profile. So at least when your clients land on your Instagram page or your esthetician page, they can see your face, and it's not like you have to keep posting your face for them to see it. It's always going to live there if that's not something that you want to do. And you can transition. You don't need to like create ideas for content because the service that you're offering is the service that you're offering. Use that to make your content. Ask your clients if you can record their services if they give you permission, and just record before and afters. Take pictures of before and afters. If you want to teach your clients something like aftercare, giving them tips, thinking about what your clients or your potential clients want to see on an Instagram profile, tips that can help them for before a wax, after a wax, things to do, not to do. Those are all very easy things that you can throw on there that are going to be helpful and beneficial to your clients. And for someone new, it's going to show that you actually care about the experience, and it's not just like I'm booking you and that's it. Oh, she's actually like offering me stuff that I can go back to and refer. Let's say I'm in a rush and I forgot what she told me to do after my wax. If I have tips on my Instagram, on the Instagram profile, it's an easy reference to go back to if I forgot what I'm supposed to do. So the more you show up authentically, the more unforgettable your brand becomes. And you're going to build a lot of trust with your potential clients. And again, you doesn't need to be a Hollywood production. Not everyone starts off with a social media manager and a videographer, and we're going to talk about that. Everybody starts somewhere. And so it's not about even posting every day. It's more about just being consistent. Don't post like 5 videos for a week and then go ghost for 2 months, because then your clients are gonna be like, is she even still practicing? I don't know. So you want to be consistent to some extent to whatever you can measure up to. You don't want to set these super high expectations for yourself, especially since you're running your business as well. Instagram is a whole separate part of it. Think about what you can feasibly do and start there. So, Lizzie, I would love your input here on this part here.
Absolutely. Social media, like you said, it's a whole other job on its own, but I will say there are different things that you can do to engage. Like you said, voiceovers is something that I feel like people with posting anxiety, and a lot of people, Mariah, you probably had this at the beginning when you started, but a lot of my clients suffer with posting anxiety, and they're constantly looking at it. And did I do this right? Do I look okay? And obviously being on camera at the beginning is people get shy about it. For me, when I would do content, if I didn't have a full face of glam on, I felt like, oh my God, I hated this. And then I started slowly to get to connect and feel okay with myself. So when they came out with the voiceovers, I was like, this is genius, because if you're in the middle of a service and you don't have time, but you want to make sure you get that content, you can do a voiceover of exactly what your date was. Be transparent, give them the ins and outs of what's happening. Like, not everything is perfect. Show the messy parts. What happens if a client decides not to show up or is late 15 minutes? Like, that's all of the things from an SD side when it comes to like the school side, or from your clients, if they are running 15 minutes behind, what can they expect, right? So those are all things that are very important. It doesn't all have to be a perfectly curated cut, although some of us do love that. But what you're saying and connecting, people like to connect with, they fall in love with the people, not with the business. I'm sure, Mariah, that if you decided to take Project Etsy to another city, they're still gonna want to expect the same kind of connection. So I think that translates to the bookings. And if you have that going for you, then the consistent, authentic clients are gonna also come to you.
Yes, exactly. And you, Mariah, you talked about realizing that showing authentically was your gold mine, and that was working for you. So do you have any insight on like if you had posting anxiety, if you were nervous at the start, like what advice would you give to someone if maybe they're not sure what to do content wise, especially if they're not comfortable with like showing their face, for example?
Okay, I love this question because I struggled so bad with this. And in the very beginning, I remember back before Instagram was even a thing. This is like back when I was like on Facebook and Instagram was like just becoming a thing. And I literally remember I tell this story all the time. I was sitting in my living room. I was trying to get my business growing. I was doing clients on my couch. And I remember putting my phone up I didn't even have a stand like for my phone, but I would put it up in my living room and I would sit on the floor and I would have my phone in the window so the light was nice because I didn't have a ring light. And I remember my neighbor, this is a real story. She was walking her kids out front, whatever. She walked by and she saw my phone in there and she just gave me like the nastiest, like, how could you be like really like you're recording yourself in front? And I remember my family and people being like, giving me so much crap about being in front of like the camera and like whatever. And I was so insecure about it. And I remember it's funny now because now I'm like, look where it got me. Look, guys, look where it got me. But it's just funny because at the time, like everyone thought that it was so weird and like so self-centered. And at the time, I also felt like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point of this? And there came a time where I had to ask myself, why am I putting myself out there and putting my face in front of the camera and doing it over and over? And then I would like post and I would try and I would try and run ads. This was like back when Instagram was new, and I would run ads and people would roast me in the comments. Like I'm just being so real. Like people would roast me, and you guys, I it's I don't care now. I could care less. Like I don't really don't care anymore. But at the time, it was so disheartening because I was like trying to get myself off the ground. And I remember my husband telling me, like, are you posting for them? Or are you posting for you or are you posting for them? And it changed my life because it's so true. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to help people. And they're here roasting me in the comments. I'm just trying to help. And then it just like shifted my mindset. And I've never been the same since, where it's like everything that we do behind the camera should be to help the person that's watching. So like all the content, it's not about me. It's not about me looking good. It's not about how I feel about myself. It's about what education, what am I doing that is helping the person who's watching what I am posting. And so when you kind of when you shift your mindset, it shifts the pressure off of you onto I'm just trying to help. And if you don't like it, you don't have to follow me. You can keep moving along, and the people who are meant to find my content will find my content. And people who don't like me or whatever it is they don't like, then they can just keep moving. And so it just takes the pressure off. So I would say if you are in that moment, or you're in a season of your life where you're like, I want to post, but I feel conscious or whatever about myself, take the pressure off yourself. It's not about you, it's about the other person. So I would say that. And I would also say, everyone's going to have an opinion about you. There's going to be people who don't like appreciate the work that you're putting in, that don't agree with what you're doing, that don't like your content, don't like you, don't like the way that you look, whatever. There's always going to be critics. But at the end of the day, if you can wake up and sleep at night knowing that you staying true to yourself and doing what you know you should be doing, honestly, forget the rest. I will not use any French during this webinar, but you don't have to worry about what anyone else says. Just do what is true to you.
I agree. That's so true. And when it comes to that and being vulnerable with yourself, and it's like they get to know the face behind the wax pot, and that only happens when you actually show up.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing that you got through that, and thank you for sharing that story. It was I try to tell everyone when they're going to start their social media career, like I already know from the beginning that they're going to have posting anxiety. So I'm always like, it's fine. People sometimes are really just listening to the information, and we're so self-conscious with ourselves. Like, how do I look? Did I do this right? That people, and then you'll start to see the comments come in and people are just really talking about the information. And then, so it's great that you took yourself out of that and realized that it wasn't about you, it was about the education.
And I will add to, I'm just going to add to that, that most people are worried about themselves anyways. Like at the end of the day, everyone's worried about themselves. They're not even, we're so worried about ourselves. So is everyone else. So like, just get out there, put your face out there and just, it's a lot. It's easier said than done. I will say, I know that it's easier said than done, but it's so freeing. And then you just put all of your effort into the education. Like, how can I learn more to show up more and to educate more? And how can I learn new techniques? So that I can show up more and help more. If you look at it from that perspective, it will change your whole life and you'll show up different, you'll show up
And I'm
different.
sure on the flip side of it, Mariah, as well, there's a lot of the positive that comes from it as well. Obviously, we as humans all go to the negative side and the insecurities and the roasted comments, I'm sure are treacherous, but I'm sure from the other side, there's so much positivity that comes in. I'm sure your DMs are flooded with people who said, "Thank you, like I needed this and I want to like you inspire me," and things to that extent.
1,000%. And you know what? I love that you said that because it is so easy to focus on the negative. And it's funny how when we could have 1,000 nice comments and then one person will say one thing and we will fixate on that one thing when it's like, hello, there is 3,000 other people over here who are inspired and who are so excited about what I have to say. And I'm fixated and giving attention to one person who is insecure in themselves and wants to put me down. So I love that you said that. And it is so true. It's so awesome. And it's a way for you to connect better too with your audience and people when they're like, hey, I feel normal when I listen to you, or I feel inspired after listening to you. And we want to be those estheticians for our clients and for, the people around us. So that's really good.
And I'm sure when you're also talking about different things that are happening within the salon that when somebody they're falling in love with you and the service and the salon and they feel comfortable and safe and that is the place where people want to book. So again, back to authenticity.
For sure.
I'm glad you brought up negative comments as well, because when you start posting, that is a thing that you are going to have to accept that there will be. It'll be a nice surprise if there isn't, but when you
Yeah.
start posting, there's going to be, or there is a chance that there's going to be some negative comments, and you have to position it. Like, I love how you positioned it, Mariah. Like, there's all these positive ones, and I can't be focusing on the negative, but also that person just exposed themselves as not your client, so you shouldn't care what they have to say about you because they're not going to be booking a service with you anyway. So they can move on and think about, if you have that much time in your hands to like leave a comment like that, I don't really want your opinion anyway.
True. It's very true.
Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. We're gonna have a Q&A at the end. It's not just gonna be us yapping up here. I promise you will have a chance to ask your own questions if we don't address something here that you are dying to know. So now we talked about authenticity and showing up consistently and how important that is. And now something that might seem super basic, but is very crucial to your brand integrity is making sure that your products align with the experience that you're promising. Everything in your treatment room tells a story about your brand, positioning yourself as a luxury, detailed-oriented waxer, but then your wax warmer looks messy and it looks cheap. It's going to send a message and there's going to be a disconnect there. Clients will notice things even if they won't say anything to you. So your tools and your products should reinforce the the experience that you are creating. Speaking of wax warmers, this is probably the one thing that I would recommend that you definitely invest in if you're just starting out. I wouldn't skimp on this particularly. You're building a brand around reliability and professionalism, and investing in a quality warmer is a brand protection move that you can make. You don't want to be the person rescheduling clients because your equipment failed or the consistency is not right and you're spending there forever trying to get the consistency right because your warmer isn't working properly. So a reliable warmer is an investment in your reputation. Another thing I will recommend here is having two, especially if you're offering body and facial services, because the consistency for those is different. So having a smaller warmer, maybe for facial services, and a larger warmer for body services is also crucial. And outside of warmers, obviously the wax formula is the most important thing. It goes on your client and it defines their experience. So your products that you're using on your clients should align with your brand promise and ideal client. So if you're marketing to sensitive skin and you need to purchase a wax formula that is going to deliver on that promise. So you would purchase something like Star Soft that is fragrance free, dye free, and is as clean as it can possibly be. If you're good, the go-to for the luxury service and it's an experience, you might want to buy Coral because Coral has added benefits outside of just a standard wax formula. It has brightening properties and it has glitter. So everybody likes glitter. It looks pretty and you can make cute content with it. So it's also an emphasis on your luxury brand if you're posting about it as well. But if you are just, if you're more of like an affordable option, or you're just like, I want to be the in and out person, I don't necessarily care about charging a fortune for my services, especially if I'm just starting out, then you don't need to go with a super premium wax. do your research, find something that is gonna perform. Like, for example, our rosin-free formulas are our staple formulas. They're still gonna get the job done. They're still gonna deliver the service that you need, especially if you're not marketing yourself as like super luxury, anything like that, because the more that you're spending on your wax, if your prices aren't aligned to account for that, then you're getting a less return per service. Whereas if you're buying a, straight formula that doesn't have anything extra with it, it's just there to get the job done and still provide a good experience, you're going to get more return per service because you're not spending so much on your overhead with getting a crazy expensive wax that you don't necessarily need for what you're marketing. Um, and clients can also tell if you've switched formulas, if they're used to one thing and like, oh, it doesn't hurt that bad. And then the next time it's like cracking and like peeling and it hurts. They're going to notice that and they're going to wonder what happened. And obviously you don't want to skimp there and go cheap when it comes to that. So, um, Lizzie, I'm going to pitch to you here about like the marketing of like showing off your formulas and what you're using in your salon and how that helps with your brand marketing.
Absolutely. I can speak from the Starpil side. The questions and the comments I get all the time. And this is also another tad bit of information that's going to go into the products. If a customer has, how many times I get this on our Starpil comments is, what do I use for sensitive skin? What do I use for sensitive skin? And that's something that I started to draw attention to, was like, if this is what they want to know, this is the information. So let's say you know that you have a lot of clients that are asking you what products, like I have sensitive skin, or I have allergies, what can I use? So if you're educating your followers and the people around you on each product, and they know what to expect when they're walking into your salon, that's going to make a big difference in the way that you are going to come across, not only from your client when they walk in the door, but on social media, because you're educating them about what you are using and why that translates to the price that you're using. So let's say it's a luxury service and you're using the Star Soft, and it is a little bit higher in price, but everything aligns with that. If they understand, they're willing to pay. So I think that's very important to know as well.
Yes, thank you very much for that insight. And when you're finding your perfect match, you might not know right off the bat. You might try a bunch of formulas like Goldilocks, trying to figure out which one is the one for you. And it might be a process, which is fine, but you want to ensure that you're making that right decision. So you want to take the time to do your research, ask around, call, see if any brands offer samples. We offer samples. You can call us. We have sample offers available. And we also have an intro discount that you can use. And also for all the attendees of this webinar, we will have a special promotion for you for 24 hours. We'll share the details about that at the end. But be sure that you're testing, doing your research, go to the brand profile. You can look through our tagged photos and see who's using our wax, what they're using it for, what it looks like to them. And it's going to be normal to feel overwhelmed by the options. And I actually see a question about I'm a beginner, what's the best kit to get? We created kits for this exact purpose. So we do have a beginner kit available. We also have a starter kits available. We have a bunch of beginner kits available that give you the perfect place to start. But then if you're like a Brazilian specialist, we also have Brazilian specialty kits as well. So that is something that unique that we offer to help you with the guesswork, because I know we have a lot of formulas. There's a lot to sift through. We wanted to make this decision a little easier for you guys. So we do have that available. Would recommend the beginner kit if that is where you're starting out. We also have, if you're an esthetician student, we have student kits as well. We stand behind all of our products. So one thing unique about Starpil here is that if you buy a formula, it doesn't work for you, it's not performing the way that you want it to, that's fine. We're going to help you find one that does. We're not just going to leave you high and dry and force you to stick with that one formula. We're going to help you find something that does work for you. And then when you get to a certain point where your volume is there and you have that cash flow, another thing that is great for your business is buying in bulk, because you're going to save more on price per pound. And obviously you're going to be stocked. You're not going to have to worry about running out of wax mid-service, and you're going to get more return per service when you are spending less per pound. And it's beyond just wax too. Your philosophy extends to everything: aftercare, prep, spatulas, strips. If you're an eco-conscious esthetician, your products should reflect that. If you're a results-driven expert, every product chosen on performance, not just price. So Mariah, you've been using our products for quite some time and you teach with them in your school. How did you decide like brand formulas, and how do you teach your students to make those product choices to align? with their future career?
Great question. So I think when I opened up the school, one thing that I really wanted was to be able to offer and teach them on the different formulas and that there are different options depending on their ideal market and business and like marketing themselves and building clientele is huge. That's something that we like really nail on the head for our students. And so I obviously chose Starpil because I was using it as a solo esthetician. And then when I opened up the school, I'm like, well, it's a no-brainer because I'm able to, give them so many options depending on their ideal client, what they're like, we've talked about this whole webinar, like who are they speaking to? Who are they trying to attract? There is something for everyone in Starpil. And so being able to teach them on all of the different options was awesome. So I would say start with that. Now, as from like the school perspective, we have found just being super like transparent, Starsoft has been incredible because it allows us to pretty much reach anyone and everyone, which we love. And as a owner of a school and liability, I feel the safest with Starsoft because I have 96 students a year. It's a lot of students to keep track of. I don't want, we don't want anything to go wrong. And they're brand new students. They're learning from the ground up and trying to train my teachers on all of this too. So just being totally transparent, Starsoft has been incredible and has allowed them to pretty much treat anyone and everyone, different skin types, different ethnicities, different hair textures, like all of it. But also playing with the coral wax, letting the girls, have the sparkle and the fun and teaching them social media. Also, it's a very high quality wax as well. So I would just say, honestly, play with all of them, decide which one you find resonates with you and your ideal client, and then just adjusting accordingly, honestly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're getting into the meat and bones here, what all everybody's been waiting for. We did a long build up to this, but everything plays into it, I promise. So we now the practical stuff is okay, you figured out your brand, you figured out your identity. How do you get people to book with you? This is where strategy comes in and is not as complicated as it sounds. For social media, most of you are already posting. So the key is being intentional about what you post. Easy things before and after photos are marketing gold. It actually shows the results that you're delivering so people feel comfortable seeing those results. Reels get more visibility than static posts, which static posts are just like a normal post on your feed. Short videos of processes, tips perform well. You do want to keep your videos on the shorter side unless it's like an educational video where a longer form would make more sense. You want to make sure that you have a hook in your video if it is longer because people's attention span these days is very short. So you want to make sure you grab their attention in the first few seconds to keep them sticking around. And as we talked about it before, voiceovers are perfect for educational content, especially if you don't want to be on camera for a specific day or whatever. So, Mariah, you create such engaging content around both your salon brand and your school accounts. And I know you mentioned you worked with a videographer and you have a social media. For the estheticians who might be intimidated creating content, like what's your advice? How do you balance good content creation with that authentic personal touch that we've been like reinforcing all this time? You're muted.
Sorry. I would say number one, of course, we've been talking about this whole time, just be authentic to yourself. So if you are not someone who likes being on front of camera, well, okay, figure out some other content that's not your face in front of the camera. But so I would say show up how you can show up long term. So if it's reels, it's whatever. Creating pillars, I would say like really tactical. If you're taking notes right now watching this, write down your 3 pillars. What are 3 pillars, content pillars, types of content that you want to post? Like, let's say it is educational and maybe it is funny, and then maybe it is charts, just as 3 examples. You can alternate through those 3 things, and that kind of gives you a like overall view of the types of pillars or content that you want to post. And then that makes it easier for you then to go through and create content around those pillars. And if you want to get super tactical, go into ChatGPT or Grok 4 if you are savvy. And you can plug it into chat or Grok 4 and it can create it for you. And you can give it like your style, your personality, tell it all about you. If you do not have ChatGPT and it does not know all about you yet, then well, you're welcome because I just saved your whole life. You can go do that and it will literally come up with all the content for you. So if you are a new esthetician, I just saved you hiring an employee because it does it for you. And that will get you on the right track. Now, the hard part is actually executing on the content itself. So then it's like actually creating the content. And I would say just keep it super simple. You need a hook. So you need to hook them. There needs to be high value in that content. And then there needs to be a call to action. So if you have those three things in any of your content, you are set up for success. It's literally 3 steps. Get a hook. First 3 seconds is so important. What's the value in the content? So even if it's not face to face, what is the value of that content? And then what is the call to action? Give them something, tell them what to do. Tell them exactly what it is you want them to do. Do you want them to book with you? Do you want them to go to a separate link? Like tell them exactly what to do. That is literally it. It's those 3 pieces that will change your life and it will change everyone else who interacts with your content's life as well.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of you, Mariah, I was just gonna hop in and say, like, if your profile, if you're a solo esthetician right now and your Instagram profile is not a business profile, this is your moment to switch it over. So when you are creating those content pillars that Mariah was talking about, you can then go onto your insights and your dashboard and you can see what people are interacting with the most, where you're getting the most reach or shares, and you can then tailor your content to that. I think it would be a missed opportunity if you're not looking at your analytics and your data and reading into it and seeing what people are liking and interacting with. So then in the next week, whenever you are making content, you say, look, this is what they like. This is what I'm going to give them more of. And just because social media changes all the time, staying connected with the views and knowing and seeing how Instagram has shifted a little bit from being what Instagram was to now more of a likes, instead of likes, it's more views. And not getting discouraged because you only have 1,000 followers and what are people looking at my content? That is not what matters anymore. Your engagement is what matters, and that turns into likes, shares, and what people are commenting on. So if you haven't shifted from a business profile, you should definitely do that.
I'm going to add to this because I love that the algorithm and things have changed. A lot of people, especially estheticians who are creating content, are like, oh my gosh, the algorithm, and they blame the algorithm for things. But the truth is, what's really cool now about the way that the algorithm is now is your content, like you used to have a lot of followers in order to get your content in front of people, where now it is literally just what resonates with people. Like if it resonates, and now with like AI and things, AI, your phones are listening to everything that you are doing. They listen to all the things. They see your search history. They see what you're into, what types of conversations you're having, keywords that you're using. And then you as a creator on the back end, when you're creating content, it is going to resonate with certain people, and the algorithm will actually push your content to other people who are, like, for instance, if you're posting about dermaplaning, well, it's going to push to people who are interested in dermaplaning because of the keyword. So that it didn't always used to be like that. It's actually super fascinating and cool the way that everything is going, allowing even small accounts with under 500 followers to literally reach thousands, if not millions of people. So really, really cool opportunity. And it evens out the playing field for everyone, which I absolutely love.
Yes, exactly. I love that you brought up the keywords too, because that is super important for social media and the next part, which is SEO. Incorporate keywords naturally in your captions too. You don't want to sound robotic, but there is a way to incorporate it. I know, Mariah, you've done this with like Amazon finds for estheticians, and that esthetician thing alone is making sure that that's being put in front of the proper audience, not just like random people, because like what they're looking for on Amazon is not going to be what you're promoting for estheticians to find on Amazon. So keywords help people find the content that they're searching for, finding what you offer, and each content type, like the pillars that you mentioned, serves a purpose. So transitioning into local SEO, which fun fact, search engine optimization is what SEO stands for. It sounds scary, but it's super important. So when someone Googles Brazilian wax near me or eyebrow waxing in Arizona, that's where you want to show up. So your main tool is your Google business profile, which is free. We love free. It's how you appear in local searches and Google Maps. The most important thing here is to keep it updated with hours, photos. Encourage your best clients, like leave reviews, respond to reviews. That's also very important. Engagement is something that people look for. So responding to comments as well on your Instagram is also super important and it's something that people look for. Um, you want to think of it as like your digital storefront, especially if you don't have like a website, for example, or it's just like your booking platform. It needs to look professional and current. And when you do get to a point, you might want to expand to building a website, which will further enhance how you show up, especially with those keywords, because you can plug in all those keywords throughout the website, and that's how you'll show up at the top of the Google results. So, Mariah, I know you're managing an online presence for both your salon and your school. Can you talk us through your strategies for those when it comes to this particularly?
Yeah, so like you said, keywords are very important. Having a business profile on Google is huge, very important, especially when you're trying to get local people to come in for services. I also, to kind of piggyback on this, because it does go hand in hand with Instagram, if you're a solo esthetician and you're trying to attract local people, make sure that you are not following a bunch of, like, on your business page on Instagram. Like, for instance, if you're trying to attract local clients, don't go and follow a bunch of estheticians that are all over the world, because then the algorithm is like, I don't know, like, who is she talking to? Who's her ideal client? It doesn't know. But if you can just try and follow and interact with people that are local in your area, that is huge. So I would say start with that. But also, having a Google profile is imperative. In fact, if you do not have this, stop what you're doing and go do it right now, because that is how people are going to find you. And the more active you are on the Google page, the more you're going to show up, like you said. Google Ads is a whole nother like beast to tackle. However, you can get a lot of local clients free if you would just have updated reviews, updated pictures, update all the things that you just mentioned. So definitely do not sleep on Google My Business. Very important.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. And now transitioning into what we kind of touched on with referrals and reviews. This is free marketing. Word of mouth is not only free, it's probably one of the most impactful things you can do for your business because people trust other people, even if they don't know them. People trust other humans, straight up. So, getting referrals from your best clients, don't be afraid to ask for them. Offer incentives like a discount on their next service. If they leave a Google review or if they bring a referral, they can get a discount on their next service. Come up with creative ways to ensure that you're getting this because every satisfied client is a potential referral source. And, I'm sure this is probably really huge for you, Mariah, when you've done that. Can you speak a little bit about how you handled referrals or any sort of incentives that you've offered for that?
Yes, I will first and foremost say that my business as a solo esthetician, and I got to the point where I just like throwing numbers out there, and I don't say it to brag, I say it because I worked really, really hard. But I was at the point where I was making 10,000 a month on average every month as a solo esthetician on my own. And I solely put that back on, it was because of my referrals, my in-house word of mouth marketing. It did not come from paid ads. It did not come from all these things that all these girls claim that grew their business. It is really truly just giving the best service, and letting your clients speak for you on your behalf when you are not in the room. And the only way that you can do that is through giving, actually really truly, like pouring everything physically, emotionally, financially back into your business. And that your clients are going to feel that, and they're going to refer you when they feel that. And it kind of goes back to, I teach the 4 R's is like my thing. So building a relationship. So R number one is relationship. Build a relationship before everything. Give them results. That's a second R. So give results through all of your, when you're waxing, give them results through that wax. Don't half wax them. Don't leave them with hair. They came in for a waxing service. Give them what they came for. Give them those results. Rebooking them. So giving them rebooked so that they are getting those results. If they're going home and coming back, and that's how they're going to get results. It's going to build relationship. that will then turn into the referrals, right? So also retail kind of goes hand in hand with that. That's another R. So selling them retail, helping them at home. How are they going to take care of their wax post service? Do they need to purchase some things to go home with? How can you educate them so that when they're at home, right, they're taking care of it? And then that will eventually lead to them referring you out to their friends. And this is literally how I built everything that I built. And this is where I mean, the reason I am now, I genuinely believe is from everything that I just said. It's not rocket science. It's not magic. It is just giving the best service, building a relationship and doing all of these things. But word of mouth referrals are so overlooked, and it is literally like that's really it can build your business like crazy.
Definitely. And it brought you to the position to be able to do more with your marketing. You know, you started with that, it built you a solid foundation, it brought you that business to scale. And now you have the flexibility to do other things with your marketing and not just rely on referrals, for example. So it's a perfect starting point for you to build that authentic audience and get your name out there and build trust with the community. And speaking of the community, collaborating with the community and attending events is also very, very important. It can also help accelerate your growth when you're partnering with other beauty professionals. So like joining forces with hairstylists, makeup artists, non-competing estheticians, going to local events like bridal shows, trade shows, anything like that, that where beauty and personal care and aesthetics is involved and coordinating with other people is really going to help expand your reach because it's going to be exposing you to new audiences that are already interested in beauty services, but maybe they just didn't think about waxing or they were going to someone, but now you've piqued their interest, so they might switch and come to you. So when you're borrowing audience, it creates like a nice camaraderie, and it's also very nice to just network in the community. And I'm sure, Mariah, you can speak to this, and you've built some good relationships within the beauty community, both as a salon owner and as an educator. And like, what types of collaborations or events have been like most successful, would you say?
I would say number one, subleasing. So when I moved from Arizona to, or sorry, when I moved from Washington to Arizona, I subleased with a girl who did hair. And I wanted to kind of sublease a room with someone who didn't do what I did. And this was a good way for her to plug in my services to her audience and then vice versa. And so I would say definitely maximize or like, utilize your resources around you and offer. So, for instance, all of her hair clients, I would offer like free samples or maybe a skin analysis or something super basic, which would open the door. They're just there for hair, but it would open the door for skin services. And then I would do the same for her. So, that collaboration was awesome. Also, in Washington, I was in a solo, like a little office suite in a hair salon, and I was the only esthetician in that hair salon. So I always tell estheticians, if you're looking to like get your name out there, go look for hair salons. They usually have like a room in the back of the building that they're not using. And sometimes if you can just be a little resourceful and be like, hey, can I just like pop in and sometimes they'll just let you use that room. That's always a great way to promote. Definitely hair, tanning, other services that are not exactly what you do, just to like get your name out there. And don't be afraid to get uncomfortable to get your name out there, whether it's handing out samples, handing out your business cards, offering to come to events. Also trade shows I know are huge. I loved going to all the trade shows. I love to go to the trade shows just to connect with other estheticians, local people. I feel like that has been huge. Also hosting live events. I mean, even as a solo esthetician, I would offer like do like mini events and I would just do skin analysis. And I didn't even have like now I have a AI space scanner, which is super cool and it gets a lot of people in. I put it in the front of my school. When people walk by, they can see it and it's pretty cool. They like want to know what it is. But as a solo esthetician, I would just offer like free skin analysis and I would just have them come in and I'll analyze your skin. And it was just a cool way to like get kind of buzz around what I was doing. And I don't know, that might be helpful for an esthetician who's just trying to get their name out there. But I would say definitely plug yourself into as many events. The Chamber of Commerce is also great. I don't know if this is above anyone's head, or if like you don't know what that is, but look locally in your area at the Chamber of Commerce. You can join the Chamber of Commerce. You pay a certain amount every year, and basically they put you, you can be on boards, but they will plug you into the community in your city. Every city has a Chamber of Commerce. I am on mine in Gilbert, and it's been incredible. It just gets my name out to other people, plugs me into the community, and then I am like top of mind for all of these people in the community. So that's another thing that you can do as well.
I think that's such a great point too, because it also reinforces your personal identity, which when people come across it, they're like, oh, she's also involved in the community. So it adds another layer to you as a person of like, okay, I like her because obviously her service is great. She does a good job, but she's also involved in the community. She's personable. She cares. So it reinforces your personal identity as well when you're getting involved like that.
So
Lizzie,
true.
I'd love to hear your thoughts here.
So on the collaboration side, my mind was just going, and one thing I can say is post the when you're posting the content and you're tagging people like us, Starpil, I'm on there every day and I'm looking at what people are tagging us in. And when the content is great, I'm reaching out, I'm saying, hey, we absolutely love this. We love to cross promote this with you. Now Instagram has updated the feature where you can do a collab post, which really works because it's engaging both audiences on people's individual feeds. So don't be afraid to tag a product because you do have people like me who are watching, and I don't look at how many followers you have. I look at what the content is and the information and the education behind the content, and it makes our ears perk. And I mean, even in this conversation with Mariah, she's been a Star Pill Pro for quite some time now, but that relationship started from obviously social media. So it's something to think about. Also, another thing to think about is when you're collaborating and using that collab posting is you can use the micro influencers. Let's say you want to offer a service and say, hey, they want a new audience, you need some of their audience, and you cross promote that. It's a win-win. Now, if you're thinking of using a bigger influencer, that's also great, but I just want to make sure everyone is mindful of just because someone has 1 million followers doesn't mean that they are your target audience. So you have to be mindful of that. So if let's say you have an IG baddie and yes, she's beautiful and she's great and she's stunning, but her audience is mostly men, then that's not going to translate for you if your demographic is more women based. So those are just little things to think about when you are creating these collabs. But again, don't be afraid to tag big brands. Everyone is looking, everyone is talking, and everybody's open to collab. And maybe something as simple as a repost. I know that when I do repost or when I comment on somebody, the feedback I get is amazing. And I usually get when I repost, and we are very conscious of reposting content that people tag us in. I always get a thank you so much. This means so much to me. I know it's just a repost, but we are watching, and it's also a good opportunity to connect with the bigger brands who have bigger audiences. So don't be afraid to do that.
Yes, exactly. And you don't need to do all of these things perfectly. It's starting where your budget and time allows. Again, we've talked about a lot of free ways to market your business. So start there, and then you can grow as your business scales. And marketing consistently compounds over time naturally. Each post builds on the last, each referral leads to more referrals, each positive review makes the next client more likely to book. So you're not just marketing for this month or this week specifically, you're building foundation for the years to come. And it can start overwhelming. Start with what feels comfortable, build from there. As Mariah said, stop what you're doing, focus on the Google business profile. That's like step one. And another important thing that Lizzie mentioned was making sure that your Instagram account is set to a business profile, because you have a lot of tools that you can unlock when you switch that on. And the most important thing is just staying consistent. As your business grows, managing social media can then become maybe more time consuming. So that's when you would do something like hire a social media manager to manage it for you, or hiring freelancers to build a website for you. Those are all things that can come with time. You don't need to start off with that. Don't set these crazy expectations for yourself. Focus on your identity first, building your foundation, and then everything will compound from there. And you want to work smarter, not harder. There's also some free newsletters that you can sign up for. A lot of the social media platforms that like we use as marketers, so like Later, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, all have newsletters that you guys can sign up for that give you free social media tips. we know Instagram changes like every week in terms of what works and what doesn't, and the algorithm is confusing. So you can sign up for those to get all those free insights straight to your inbox so that you don't even have to do the thinking and let these newsletters tell you what's working on socials and what isn't, so you don't have to sit there figuring it out. And so now this is the juicy part. We are offering 20% off site wide and off Starpil U for 24 hours. Use the code Starpil Live. You can scan these QR codes here. If not, don't worry. We will share all of this with you. Yes, this is being recorded, and you will get an email with this as well. And we're also offering our Marketing 101 course for free on Starpil U with code marketing. So now I will open the floor for questions. I know we already got some, so let's dive right in. What do we have?
So we have this one for Mariah, and it's Mariah, how do you handle slow seasons or weeks with fewer bookings, and how do you go through that?
Okay, slow seasons, I would say, gosh, number one, every like seasons are going to change. It is normal and natural. Like there are summer, spring, winter, fall. It is the exact same thing in business. It is normal, it is natural. You are not wrong. Your business is not bad because you have a slow season. It is normal. So I want to start with that because I think we think going into business it's going to be a straight vertical line, and that is not the case. It is literally one day you're making $5, the next day you're at negative 100, and then the next day you're at 300, and the next day you're back at 2. So that is normal, first of all. But I would say in the slow seasons, how can you maximize the slow seasons? How can you, when you do have your high seasons, use that season, use everything that is going well to get you through the slower season. So that's one thing that I learned too, was when I do have highs, save that high, invest back into my business during the high so that when it is low, I am prepared, number one. Number two, I would say also just like using the downtime to promote. A lot of times when we have slow seasons, we tend to kind of recluse backwards or feel like, oh my gosh, it almost makes us not want to post. It makes us feel down about ourselves. And that's the actually opposite of what we should be doing. During the slow seasons, you should actually push harder, and it's very hard to do. But when you can learn to push against the grain and kind of go against how you feel and not lean on emotion, but like what needs to be done right now, everything will change. So I don't know if that is super helpful, but that's honestly just the truth. Just go all in on your slow seasons, maximize, and then next time you have those highs, how can you reinvest? How can you maximize the high for the next slow season? Because it's going to happen. It's going to come.
Love it. The next question they had for you, Mariah, as well was, do you do anything special post-wax to encourage clients to rebook or refer a friend?
I would, yes, I would say number one, educating them on pre and post care so that they feel, like you said earlier, like educated. They're prepared. I have on Instagram, like, oh, this is how you can prepare. This is what you do after. I teach my students to send them home with aftercare, so that they feel educated. Because the more educated that they feel, the more likely they are to rebook with you. I would also say just simply rebooking them, like they do not leave unless they are actually rebooked for their next service. Educating them on the hair growth stages, like the anagen, telogen, phases of hair growth, kind of explaining that to them. And then I would also say, honestly, just rebooking them to keep them coming back.
Love it. For Allegra, this one's for you. When you're working on Starpil campaigns, how do you decide what kind of esthetician you're speaking to? This person said that they're still trying to find their voice.
Well, for finding your voice, you're already on the right track by asking this question. We talked about it a lot, but we're going to revert back to authenticity. Your voice should feel authentic to who you're speaking to, the specific needs of your audience. You don't want to try and sound like every esthetician or beauty brand out there. Think about like what makes you different. What's your perspective on the industry? What do you genuinely believe when you're serving clients? You have to think about who you want to target and then how you can authentically present that to them in a natural way. Understanding your audience is a really great place to start, and or understanding the type of audience that you want to attract is important. Like when I'm working on campaigns for Starpil, I think about the specific challenge or goal that we're addressing. Are we talking to someone that just graduated and is feeling overwhelmed by all their options? We decided to make the kits for this specific purpose. Are we speaking to an established esthetician who's looking to scale their business? Or we're talking to someone who's been using the same product for years and is ready to try something new? All those different people are going to get different marketing targeted to them. And the most effective way is to approach the situation rather than trying to create this perfect persona. Like for today's webinar, we knew we'd have a wide range of maybe beginners to established salon owners, but the common thread here is that most estheticians don't get marketing training in school. So we wanted to focus that experience here.
I love it. That was so helpful. So this one was for me. It says, has there ever been a piece of Starpil content that really surprised you and how well it performed? This happens to us internally all the time. Sometimes we have a full script. Me and Sunny, we work together on a lot of the content. She's our content manager, and we did a video where we're like, oh, this is going to be amazing. We were laughing and laughing and laughing, and it only got about 5,000 views. So we were looking at each other like, I guess we're the only ones that thought this was funny. But then I'm scrolling through trending audios and things that people are already connected to and liking. And then you can use that same witty, funny content and attach that trending audio to it. And then you wake up and you have 200, 300,000 views and you're like, wow, I shouldn't have overthought this. So don't overthink the content. That's what I can say. Pay attention to trending audios and things that people are already connected to, because if the eyes are already on it and you have that witty, funny response that you would have had in another piece of content, then you are on the algorithm's flow, and it is probably going to get more views and more interactions. The next question is, what warmer would you recommend to someone doing Brazilians all day?
So for this one, I'll obviously recommend our 10. Well, it depends on what your all day looks like. Your hours are gonna kind of influence this. If you only work a few hours, your all day Brazilian might be like 5 clients, or it could be 10 clients. Kind of just depends on your volume, but definitely 10-pound warmer. If you want that big monster, you're definitely not gonna have to refill it as often as you would our 5-pound, but the 5-pound is also a great option if you don't want the 10-pound. So I would go with either of those. We have two options for the 5-pound. We have our standard and our premium, and then the 10-pound is the big monster that you likely will have less time refilling if that's important to you and you're on back-to-back clients. If you're like a speed waxer, if you're focused on that in and out Brazilian service, that's probably what you're going to want to get.
Awesome. Mariah, what are the biggest branding mistakes you see estheticians or new salon owners make, or something that you see in your students that you always make sure to tell them, hey, be mindful of this?
Okay, I might be controversial on this topic, but I think rebrand. Every time I see an esthetician say, "Oh, I'm going to rebrand, I'm going to rebrand," and I'm like, "Hold up. Don't worry about rebranding all the time. Focus on it's internal. It's not changing the like the colors and the font and things like that's not going to change your brand if you yourself and like the service that you're offering or the education, like that's what matters. It's not the packaging, it's not the colors and the fonts and the things that we think is what matters. It's really not. So I would say don't worry about rebranding. Go internal and be like, okay, well, what do I need to do? Is it the customer service? Is there something there? Do I need to invest in better equipment, better products? What does that look like? I would say turn to that and let that be your branding versus focusing so much on like the colors and the all of the other things.
Love it. Allegra, this is for us. They're trying to choose a kit right now, but the coral sets are not available. When will it be in stock again? And I know we've been hearing this for the past.
Next week, Coral will be back. It's a crowd favorite. Get it when it's back. She goes out of stock a lot. Sorry, y'all, but she will be back very soon next week.
And they asked also, does the 800 milliliter wax can fit into the double hard wax warmer, or can they only fit in the 500 milliliter soft wax can?
Yes, they can fit in our standard and double and all the soft wax warmers. The only difference between the 500 and the 800 is just the height. The diameter is exactly the same. So you're good
And
there.
thank you. And for me, they asked me if I have under 1,000 followers, should I even be worrying about strategy yet, or just focus on being consistent? Yes, you need a strategy. I don't care if you have 2 followers, you need a strategy, because you need to be thinking about questions and content that people are going to interact with. Throwing spaghetti against the wall and just posting content to post with no real mindset of what you wanted to do. Is it a brand awareness thing? Do you want people to just know your face? Are you trying to get them to book a reservation? What are you trying to do when you are posting content? What is the call to action, as Mariah said in the past? All of those things are things to be mindful of. I don't care if you have 1,000. I don't care if you have two. I don't care if you have 10,000. All of it matters. So yes, be consistent, and yes, keep the strategy going. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, because especially now with the change in the algorithm, the views and the reach are what matters, and the engagement is what matters. Don't focus on the number of followers. That is old habits that we're not going to play into anymore. And then I think, oh, one last question. What is the difference in luxury waxing and non-luxury waxing? Mariah, if you want to give your take on that.
I will give the best take that I personally can. I think it's hard. Two things, again, going back to where I kind of specialized was like the 8 minute Brazilian. I don't know what is luxury about an if you, it's all about perspective. So to me, luxury is 8 minutes for a Brazilian because it's a luxury. I'm in and I'm out. And to me, my time is very valuable. So that is a luxury to me, or someone else might want a longer luxury service. And maybe that means talking to them, spending more quality time with them. So I guess define what luxury means for you. Um, you can help me, Liz, because I might be way off on answering this question, but that's all I got.
Yeah, I think this ties back into who your audience is and who you're marketing to and what the perfect dream client is for you. Like I said, like I'm the type of person who I think luxury is 8 minutes in and out. Love you, see you later, gotta go. That for me is luxury. Like some people do like more time together, more conversation. And there is everybody for everyone. So you don't like luxury and non-luxury. I think for me, luxury specifically is using good products that make sure that your client is in the best hands, that they have the best aftercare. That is what matters. That is what's luxury. Now, non-luxury is definitely using wax that's going to be breaking, it's going to be causing irritation, that's going to be hurting your client. That is non-luxury. So I'll just wrap it up with that.
Yeah, it's more about positioning and the experience than it is like the actual technique. Again and again, like luxury is different to everyone. So it's about how you portray luxury. Define what luxury means to you or what it means to your clients. And that's what you're portraying to them as your luxury experience. It might focus more on like the full experience. We already mentioned like using good products. Maybe you're spending more time on prep and aftercare. Your treatment room has like nice amenities. You might offer complimentary extras. They're grouped into the price, but a mask afterwards or a take-home kit for the client to take home with them. The pricing is higher because it reflects like an elevated experience. You're charging premium prices because you're providing a premium service. Non-luxury waxing, like you're using lower cost products. It's not necessarily like one is better or worse, especially if you're focusing on being the person that's just accessible. You can offer a luxury service, like a separate luxury service for that customer that does want something more luxurious while still providing a budget friendly, accessible option for the traditional normal client that just cares about getting a wax and doesn't necessarily need like a whole experience with their wax.
I love it. That concludes our Q&A. Thank you so much for your time, Mariah and Allegra, if you want to take it from here.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I hope that this was really helpful and informative for you. It was recorded. We will be sending everything to you. We know the Starpil U server is down, but don't worry, we're going to be extending the code till the end of the week so you can still get your free course when the course is back online. Thank you very much, everyone.